So I got to tell you about a story I had at lunch the other day first. Guy I go to lunch with all the time, Frank the Tank, and another guy, Lem. We talk about everything, whether it's politics or whatever. And Lem actually said he is going to vote for Hillary. Frank, on the other hand, and myself said we're going Trump. And he said, yeah, but why you don't know what you're going to get with Trump, and we said that's exactly right, and that's exactly why we're going to vote for him, because both said with Hillary we already know what we're going to get. More of the status quo, more of the same old, nothing's going to get fixed. Corporate powers taking over more, we already know that's what's going to happen. With Trump, at least what he's saying, and from what I could tell a long time ago, looking at some really, really, really old videos, decades old, the man hasn't wavered. So our point was we're willing to take a chance and hope that what he says isn't just a bunch of rhetoric. He's actually going to do something and try to, as he says, make America great again. I'd rather take that because it's a 50-50 chance he will or he won't, right? 50% chance he's going to do what he says. The other 50% chance he's going to get in there and do nothing and become another Hillary or club member, whoever, step in line. Next, like ants coming out of an anthill. They're all the same. They all do the same. They keep coming out. We keep picking new ones, and they keep, giving us the same results. So that was kind of our discussion. So we get back, which was yesterday, and, from lunch, and then I see this interesting article at one of my favorite sites, Zero Hedge. Trump picks former Goldman Sachs partner and Soros employee. So he's a former Goldman partner and Soros employee as his finance chairman. That didn't quite like hearing that headline, to be honest with you. In an oddly ironic twist, today Donald Trump announced that he has picked as chairman of his newly launched fundraising operation none other than a former employee of the bank he has repeatedly criticized in the past, in which he used as a foil to criticize Ted Cruz, and that is, of course, Goldman Sachs. Trump announced that heading up his own personal fundraising operation as national finance chairman will be Steve Mnuchin, a longtime business associate, chairman and CEO of the hedge fund Dune Capital. More importantly, however, he spent 17 years at Goldman Sachs, where he was most recently a partner, having built a fortune of $46 million before launching his own hedge fund. While employed at Goldman, he purchased the remains of IndyMac Bank, now known as One West Bank, the Pasadena, California-based mortgage lender that collapsed in 2008. Notoriously press-shy, the executive endured 2011 protests on the lawn of his Bel Air mansion by foreclosed homeowners angered at his lender's handling of soured mortgages. As Zero Hedge readers are familiar, Trump often criticized his main competitor, Ted Cruz, for his links to the bank because of loans used to finance Cruz's Senate campaign and because Heidi Cruz, Cruz's wife obviously, a one-time employee of Goldman. I know the guys at Goldman Sachs. They have total control over him, just like they have total control over Hillary Clinton, Trump said in one debate. So we could argue and say, well, yeah, but this is a former. He doesn't, work there anymore. He's got his own thing going on. He's out of there. Yeah, you could. Some more on his background. Starting his career in the early 1980s as a trainee at Salomon Brothers, before moving to Goldman Sachs in 1985, he was front and center for the advent of instruments like collateralized debt obligations, or CDOs, and credit default swaps, those insurance contracts that back things like these derivatives. He has called securitization, quote, an extremely positive development in terms of being able to finance different parts of the economy and different businesses efficiently. The pitfalls of the financing method came later, he's said. His father was a partner at Goldman Sachs in the 1960s. The second youngest of 5 siblings, Stephen attended the prestigious Riverdale Country School and then Yale University, where his roommate was Edward Lampert, who would go on to become a hedge fund manager and owner of Sears. And more recently, in October 2014, he became co-chairman of the board of the Hollywood studio Relativity Media due to Dune's fascination with movies. Dune has provided financing for batches of movies like X-Men and Avatar. Relativity Media filed for bankruptcy last summer, just a few months after his arrival. According to Variety, Dune was intimately involved in the studio's failure. The money man and fellow investors in a Dune capital fund are said to have lost as much as $80 million, equity that is almost certain to be lost for good, said 2 sources familiar with the situation. And disgruntled Relativity investors privately are questioning how a bank this guy once headed, One West Bank of Pasadena, was allowed by Relativity to drain $50 million from the studio just weeks prior to the July 30th insolvency filing. And it says, just to be sure, Hillary Clinton, who in turn has been attacked for her paid speeches to Goldman Sachs, also has a high-ranking Goldman official in her ranks. Former CFTC Commissioner Gary Gensler, who is the former Secretary of State's chief financial officer and whom she is grooming for a potential Treasury Secretary. Oh my God. Could you imagine Gary Gensler, top guy of the rigging of the commodities over at the CFTC, forcing everyone to look the other way, we didn't see anything, becoming the Treasury Secretary? But for Trump, a self-professed anti-establishment candidate who has repeatedly stated he will fund his own way and is not for sale to special interest groups, his sudden proximity to Wall Street comes as a big surprise and will leave many of his supporters demanding an explanation. I strongly agree. This is, all I can really hope, and I don't smoke hopium. J. Snip4 does not smoke hopium. But I'm going to take a little tiny bit right now. And I hope that he's just looking at this guy's credentials and saying he might be the right fit for me. And he's a longtime acquaintance. So maybe that's it. Magic 8 Ball? Is that it? Is there nothing more to this story? My sources say no. So there is something more to this story. At least according to Magic 8 Ball. Whew. Not sure if I like this news at all, to tell you the truth. Take care.